In a world racing toward clean energy, where data centers, AI systems, and rapidly growing cities demand electricity like never before, one African nation is preparing to take a giant, historic leap. A leap toward nuclear power. This is the story of Ethiopia's bold new nuclear program, how it began, who is behind it, and what it could mean for the future of East Africa. On September 25, 2025, in Moscow, something extraordinary happened. A meeting between Russia's President Vladimir Putin and Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed marked the beginning of what could become one of Africa's most ambitious infrastructure projects. Cameras captured the moment as Rosatom, Russia's state-owned nuclear energy corporation, and Ethiopian officials exchanged documents outlining Ethiopia's first-ever nuclear power plant. This wasn't just symbolic, it was the signing of an action plan, a formal commitment to begin planning, designing, and eventually constructing Ethiopia's first nuclear facility. This placed Ethiopia among a growing list of African nations partnering with Rosatom, including Egypt, Nigeria, Rwanda, and South Africa. But Ethiopia's reasons for turning to nuclear energy run deeper and more urgent than geopolitics. Ethiopia has long depended on one thing for its electricity: hydropower. The Blue Nile, the Omo, the Awash, these rivers are lifelines of the nation's energy system. But there's a problem. Climate variability has been hitting Ethiopia hard. Seasonal droughts, irregular rainfall patterns, water shortages. Even the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Africa's largest hydroelectric dam, cannot fully protect the country from fluctuating water levels. These shortages have consequences: factories shutting down during dry seasons, households facing blackouts, and billions lost in economic output. Ethiopia is also one of the fastest-growing economies in Africa. Its cities are expanding, its manufacturing sector is pushing forward, and the demand for reliable electricity is skyrocketing. By 2030, Ethiopia's power demand is expected to nearly double. Hydropower alone can't keep up. Foreign Minister Gedeon Timotheos gave a stark warning at the December 2025 launch of the Ethiopian Nuclear Power Program in Addis Ababa. Electricity requirements for data centers are projected to double by 2030. AI systems, cloud computing, fintech platforms, and digital infrastructure all require enormous and stable amounts of electricity. Ethiopia is building smart cities, industrial parks, and an expanding aviation and logistics network. All of that depends on power. The country needs energy that doesn't depend on rainfall, can run 24 hours a day, and is clean enough to meet global climate standards. Nuclear energy fits all three. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed recently announced a $30 billion mega development initiative with nuclear power as its centerpiece. The plan includes a multi-reactor nuclear power plant, a national regulatory and security framework, training programs for Ethiopian engineers, and partnerships with the International Atomic Energy Agency. Foreign Minister Gedeon Timotheos calls the nuclear project a national flagship initiative. He says it will be the pillar supporting Ethiopia's long-term energy stability, modernization, and industrial transformation. His message is clear: if we invest wisely today, we can secure a brighter future powered by clean energy. In October 2025, Ethiopia took a crucial step. It created the Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission, also called the ENEC. This institution will regulate nuclear activities, collaborate with the IAEA, enforce safety rules, train scientists and engineers, and develop nuclear applications in medicine, agriculture, and industry. As Commissioner Sandokan Debebe put it, we are not merely adding another technology, we are securing the foundation of our future economy. The International Atomic Energy Agency, the global watchdog ensuring nuclear safety, has welcomed Ethiopia's move. Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi praised the establishment of the Ethiopian Nuclear Energy Commission as critical for ensuring safe and secure nuclear development. The IAEA is already working with Ethiopia through its Technical Cooperation Program to help train staff, develop safety systems, build institutional capacity, and prepare for major infrastructure milestones. The agency's message is clear. If done right, nuclear energy could accelerate Ethiopia's economic development, industrial growth, and scientific progress. Rosatom has become the world's leading builder of nuclear plants abroad. From Turkey's Akuyu plant to Egypt's El Dabaa project, Rosatom often provides a build-own-operate model, including financing, training, fuel supply, and long-term maintenance. For Ethiopia, this partnership offers lower upfront costs, access to Russian nuclear expertise, 60-plus years of operational support, guaranteed fuel supply, and workforce training. But it also raises geopolitical questions. Russia sees Africa as a strategic frontier, and Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous nation, holds significant economic and diplomatic influence. For Ethiopia, however, the decision appears driven primarily by energy security, not geopolitics. Sandiken Debebe put it plainly, no single existing source in our current energy mix can meet this scale of demand. Not everyone is convinced. Critics worry about Ethiopia's financial debt load, long-term dependence on Russia, nuclear waste management, and the lack of existing nuclear-trained professionals. Others point to existing challenges. Ethiopia still faces political tensions, regional conflict, and economic pressure. Critics ask whether nuclear energy might stretch the country's resources too thin. But supporters argue the opposite, that Ethiopia's economic future depends on having a stable, abundant source of electricity. Without it, industrialization slows, digital transformation becomes impossible, and climate-driven hydropower instability will worsen. Ethiopia says its nuclear dream is not merely technological, it is symbolic, a symbol of modernity, a symbol of resilience, a symbol of ambition. Foreign Minister Gedeon compared it to the founding of Ethiopian Airlines, an idea once dismissed as too bold, too expensive, too unrealistic. Today, Ethiopian Airlines is Africa's largest and most successful carrier. He believes nuclear energy can follow the same path. With resolution and determination, we will realize our dreams of a nuclear-powered Ethiopia. The next stages include finalizing plant design, selecting the reactor type, likely Russia's VVER-1200, choosing a construction site, building a nuclear workforce, developing safety and emergency frameworks, and securing financing for long-term operation. Construction of Ethiopia's first nuclear power plant will likely take 8 to 12 years. If completed, it could produce thousands of megawatts of clean electricity, tens of thousands of jobs, and a new era of technological opportunity. For Ethiopia, a nation of over 120 million people, the impact could be transformative. The world is watching. As climate change strains energy systems across the globe, and as digital economies, from AI to data centers, demand more power than ever before, Ethiopia has stepped onto a bold and unprecedented path. A path powered by atoms, a path driven by national ambition, a path that could redefine the future of East Africa. Ethiopia's decision to pursue nuclear energy, backed by new partnerships, massive investment, and a long-term vision for energy security, is more than a technological shift. It's a declaration that the old limits, hydropower shortages, climate-driven variability, and industrial slowdowns, will no longer dictate the country's destiny. This is Ethiopia betting on transformation, on modernization, on becoming a regional powerhouse capable of fueling cities, industries, science, healthcare, agriculture, and a rising digital economy. But it's also a gamble, a project measured not in months but decades, one that will require safety, transparency, international oversight, and billions in sustained investment. If Ethiopia succeeds, it could become a model for African nuclear development, showing what's possible when a nation commits to long-term, clean, and resilient energy. If it fails, the cost will be enormous. But one thing is certain, Ethiopia is no longer waiting for the future. It is building it, reactor by reactor, vision by vision, aiming to power a new era for more than 120 million people. The world is not just watching, it is witnessing the beginning of a nuclear-powered chapter in Ethiopia's history.